Welcome back to the Schizophrenia Life. This is episode 293, and today we have a special guest, Aaron, with the podcast Communication Verbatim. And today's, I'll tell you what we're going to do today after he does a short introduction. So go ahead, Aaron, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm 19. I'm from England. I've just started my podcast called Communication Verbatim, and James has very kindly invited me on. So today we're doing a crossover episode, my favorite type. So yeah, let's get this ball rolling.
So I wanted to do this in video form for YouTube and then obviously the voice. So if you're just listening, then head over to the YouTube once it's uploaded. I'll try to upload it tonight. Um, but I bought this um, Christmas calendar, an events calendar, and it has for every day in December up to Christmas, it has a different beer. And so I wanted to do a video for each day testing the beer. And so today it's got beautiful artwork. I can't really pronounce the name except for the Hopfenbeissen, which is uh, hops white beer. But we'll see what it looks like. But the artwork is amazing. So we're gonna open this up and then have a conversation. So while I do this, uh, you can take it away, Aaron. Just talk about anything.
So yeah, uh, I think going back to the name of the podcast, the whole schizophrenia life thing. I've personally had psychosis. I haven't officially been diagnosed with schizophrenia or anything, but it is something that is worries me a lot because I still have lingering symptoms after about a year after my episode. So in all likelihood, I probably am schizophrenic, and I'm just in denial about it. But having resources out there that make it more relatable, more acceptable, and more accessible to sort of see it normalized is a really big thing. And I think just for the medium itself, it's great. And so this podcast is a lovely platform, and I'm honored to be on it.
I don't know how the beer is in England. I've been there a few times, but I don't remember how the beer was because when I was there, I was too young to drink. But you don't get like the head of a beer. You don't get heads like this with American beer.
Oh,
American beer
really?
is like water.
Yeah. No, you definitely get heads like that with English beer. You do. But they go quite quickly. Do those ones sort of linger on, or?
It's actually really good.
Oh, really?
It's it's like a pepper beer almost. Like it kind of tastes
Pepper.
like it has like a peppery flavor. I guess that's what the top of it says.
That's interesting.
I
I don't think
don't
I've ever
it,
had a pepper beer.
but it's a white uh a wheat beer. That's what I want to say. So it's a wheat beer.
Right. I'm not so much of a beer aficionado, but yeah, that sounds great. So, in terms of the direction for this podcast, is there anywhere that you want to steer it away from beer or?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, keep me on track. Um so I did listen to your first episode and it was kind of like listening to one of my episodes. Like I swear it sound like that. The pauses and the like that's what aggravates me about all of my podcasts. Every single episode. I used to, if you listen to my early episodes, I would go
Mhm.
through and edit out the pauses, but it was
Ooh,
so much work that I ended up just saying I don't care. And so any episode since then for like the next year and a half, I just stopped editing them because the it would add like an hour of editing to every podcast, and I was just like I'm lucky if I
y-
even get the podcast done. I don't want to spend another hour editing. And so I just stopped doing it. But when I was listening to yours, like it sounded just like I was listening to one of mine, where it was like not. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like not staying on topic. Uh, like you bounce around to different ideas and then bounce back and
I
uh,
think that keeps it interesting.
well, for some people, but
Yeah.
that's kind of like the style of podcast that we do. I've done a few podcasts where I'll type up a lot of points
Hmm.
and then I'll try to stick with them. But that only lasts a couple minutes because
Yeah.
in between points I'll go off on a tangent and then forget what I was talking about and then be like, okay, what number were we on? And so sometimes I try to do an outline, sometimes I just wing it. It's sometimes I'll start the podcast on one subject and finish on a. It's like black and white, you know. So I
Yeah, yeah,
start
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about one thing and then end up completely on the other side. Lately, um, I've been trying not to talk about politics because of how prominent politics are right now,
Hmm.
everywhere. That I just was watching a video not even an hour ago from England uh, of them protesting the lockdowns there, and like
Yeah,
the cops had like metal, solid metal like sticks that they were
mhm.
hitting people with.
Yeah. Yeah, man, the cops will do that. I think they made 155 or 95 arrests there. So it's like they're really cracking down on if you violate the lockdown rules, we will come down hard on you. Like, I know in England there's been a lot of sort of illegal raves and stuff like that and house parties, and they're handing out massive fines. We're talking 50, 60, 90K fines. Like, they're really doing anything to sort of
Yeah,
take
but
away.
are these? How long have your lockdowns been going on there? Since like January or February?
Yeah, I think the initial one was like 3.5 months, and then we went into a tier system, and then about literally a month ago today, we went into the second lockdown.
So it's the exact same as here. So
Yeah.
we did the initial lockdown, three months, opened up to that stupid tier system, and then 1st of November lockdown.
Mm.
And so we've been locked down for this past month. Um, and they don't have an end date for it. It's
They don't have an end
ridiculous.
date.
They
Oh,
literally said we're locking down for at least November. And
damn.
what gets me is the solution to a problem should not be worse than the problem.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
like,
the solution to dealing with COVID should not be worse than the like by locking down your small businesses are closing, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their houses because they can't pay for anything because they don't have a job anymore. People are being forced to stay in a house, maybe even alone. Um, and so then you have to deal with the depression, the alcohol abuse. A lot of parents have their kids stuck at home with them, and then you have child abuse. Like all of depression, suicide, child abuse, drug overdose, everything uh, is skyrocketing because of this year because of the lockdowns. Japan
and
just
then
uh, J- Japan just put out yesterday. They have more deaths from suicide in 2020 than from COVID, and
that's
it's because
crazy.
of the lockdowns. They said
In,
specifically the suicide rate went up 8,000% in Japan, and it's
in the
like that.
UK, at least,
It's
those
everywhere.
suicides would have been counted as COVID. Still a scandal continuously going on where non-COVID related deaths or people who have had COVID and then died of natural causes, their deaths are counted as COVID, and it's still
There,
going on.
there was a guy
They're
that got
really
ranked,
inflating the numbers.
and they were doing the same thing. What they did was, for every COVID case a hospital had, they would get a certain amount of money from the government.
Hmm.
And so the hospitals were calling every death a COVID death. If you died, no matter how you died, um, and you had COVID, it was COVID death. And
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
people forget, hospitals are a business for money.
Mm.
And so people forget that. And I read two instances pop in my mind that I read about. One guy got shot in the head, and they called it a COVID death. And then the other guy got hit by a bus, and they called it a COVID death.
Yeah. You
Like,
could go like that for hours. There's people who have fallen off ladders, been in traffic accidents. Like there, there's a lot of COVID related deaths that are adding to the statistics that are really just accidents. Like I think there might be something more nefarious than hospitals just wanting money
well,
behind that.
the other thing is, we know now the survival rate worldwide is, it's 99.8% survival rate.
That's crazy.
So if you get COVID, you have a 99.8% chance to live. Period. If you include the entire population, the at-risk people, the healthy people, the kids, everyone. You include everyone, you have a 99.8% chance to live. It's not going to kill you. Um, like, I hate to bring him up, but look at Trump. He got it. 48 hours later, he's at a rally. Like,
Mm,
he got over it.
yeah. Trump, he
That's
refuses
happening
to.
everywhere though. Like, uh, people get it. They don't even know they have it. They go in for
Yeah,
a test and it says, "Yeah, you've already had COVID," and they're like, "I was never sick." So
yeah.
people are getting it and they don't even know they have it. And uh, so I think it was 70% of COVID patients don't even have symptoms. So they have it.
70%.
Yeah.
Bro,
But
that's crazy.
the problem is, the media only and this is every country, your country, Germany, US, everywhere, they only post the most horrific stuff, because they think that's what sells. So they post like, 10 million people died from COVID or whatever.
Mm.
But if you have 10 million people die, then you had, well, we don't even have that many people on Earth, but okay, let's do a smaller number. Say you had 1,000 people die, that means 1 billion people lived.
The numbers seem a bit off there because I
I
think
don't, I don't know the
even.
math. Hold on. let's 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 do a calculator. Okay, so we have 1,000 people die times. Wait, yeah, hold on. Okay, wow, I was way off. Okay, so for every 1,000 that die, 99,800 live that get it.
I
So yeah, I don't.
bet you're kicking yourself for getting that one wrong now.
Oh yeah, blame it on the beer. No.
You from? Oh, you've unfroze.
Honestly, I before this little calendar thing with the beer, I drink, I think, 3 days a year. I drink one beer 3 days a year. I think you're frozen. Hello?
Yeah.
Uh,
I've lost you. Oh, you're back.
I
Hello?
can I can hear you, but you're okay. Your video's back. Okay.
All right, okay. Little hiccup there. That's technology for you. Right. Shoot. You know what I've been thinking? I like to think about sort of philosophical questions quite a lot. And one that I've been pondering a lot with some friends is there objectively more good people in this world? If you just look at through your moral framework and view all their actions through your moral framework, and obviously it's on a spectrum,
I
but if
can
you look at the spectrum,
I can give you facts to answer this question.
oh really?
Facts. Okay.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So, you know how in the US they've been freaking out for like 2 years about police brutality against black people.
Mhm.
But what they don't say, all you see on TV is like that George Floyd incident or some of the other ones. You see the one incident where something bad happens, and it happens to involve a black person. What you don't see, they don't show you the numbers for how many police interactions take place per year. So if you look at the numbers, you have a bad interaction with police one time. For every one time, you have 93 million interactions that are positive. 93 million. And that, like, literally, because you got to think how big our population is in the US. We have 370
Oh no, you
million
turned into a
people.
robot.
Can you hear me? Can, can you hear me?
Yeah, you turned into a robot there. I caught up until 370 million people.
Okay. Um, we have 370 million people, so it's a huge. It's a bigger than most country. Like you'd pretty much have to take all of Europe to make up that.
Mm.
And uh, so out of all those police interactions, you have one bad one. That's the only one you see on TV. You don't see all the good ones, and that's
Mm.
the problem. Is you don't see the good ones. And then um, to top that off, how many white people are shot and killed by the cops versus how many black people? Um, White people get shot and killed by the cops 80% more than black people. The problem is they don't tell you the numbers, and that's just because of the size of the populations. Black people only make
Oh no.
no well in the U.S. Black people only make up 12% of the population. So just because there's more white people, then more white people are killed by cops.
Yeah,
Um,
no. To be honest, I can see where you're coming from. I'm just on the move because the reception is poor upstairs. So, but I can see where you're coming from with the whole police brutality statistics. But I think you can look at the other side of the coin. So, how many of those interactions that you're not looking at were bad in nature, and how many of them you not sort of presented that were also bad? Because I think when it comes to police, the majority are good, but there are definitely bad
that's
actors. And
that's what
in
I'm saying.
America,
But that's with every organization. Every organization. When I was in the army,
yeah.
um, they said that one soldier can ruin the reputation of the entire army, and it happened when I was in Iraq. We we had one soldier do one stupid thing. CNN picked it up, and it made the entire army look like shit.
Mm,
So
yeah.
because and out of I don't know how many people there was over 50,000 soldiers over there, and because one person out of 50,000 did one thing wrong, it made all 50,000 look like shit. And that's how it is with the police. There's there's millions and millions of cops, but if one cop fucks up, you say they yell defund the police. There's tons of there's millions of good cops for every one bad cop. And that's what I don't understand is you have I think someone did the math and it was like 3%. So like 3% of cops are uh, garbage.
So if we're just going off your numbers, then if 3% are garbage, then that means you have 97 good cops for
Yeah.
every three bad cops. Not millions. I think millions is a bit hyperbolic. Like
No,
people just
I'm saying millions because
oh
we
millions of
we have millions
interactions.
and millions of cops in the US.
Oh right, yeah. I'm following. Yeah,
So out of the let's say 30 million people that are cops, out of 30 million, 3% are bad,
hmm
97% are good. So to say because of the 3%, we're going to uh
not again.
we're going to do
Why is
violence
it freezing
against
so
the
much?
90% is ridiculous. You there were you see now all these videos of cops getting killed because of people's hatred of cops now. Because of the 3%, the other 90% have to be afraid for their life because everyone's hating on cops right now. That's what I don't understand. Why? And there was
You
a
broke
news
up on me.
organization I saw a while back that only promotes good stuff. And I think I've done this on my podcast at least 8 episodes where I would go through different websites, news agencies, and the top 50 at least articles, every single one was negative. Every single one. So you have you don't see the good stuff
Yeah,
because it's not
I think
told
that's
to
just the
you.
nature of the news.
The news thinks that only bad negative information sells. Like they used to back when I was younger in the 90s, they were saying sex sells. So the news would report on sex scandals and stuff like that. Now it's you like if you go back and look at all the news stories from Iraq and Afghanistan, you only saw things of like uh 10 soldiers died or a bomb went off. You didn't see the stories of us handing out food to the people that need it, of us rescuing people. You didn't see any of that. You only saw the negative stuff. And I think that's
Yeah.
a
Uh,
huge problem.
to what extent though is that just the media having their own agenda and trying to get out the story that is there? Because like if you had been that person who was treated egregiously by the police, you would want your story to be heard. You'd want people to know, and like I can understand that that might affect the opinions of people en masse. But on some point, they're not gonna. It's not a news story. This cop had a good interaction and gave this guy so and so, or
Well, I
this
think
person
it's
had a
a
pleasant experience with the
business.
cops. They have to make news.
The
Yeah, exactly.
news the news is there to make money. And so what's going to make more
Freezing.
money if you say a million people die from COVID or if you say 10 million people got COVID and survived? Which one makes more money? Which one gets more clicks? That's what it's a in today's world. It's not paper anymore. It's clicks. So if you see two articles, one says, "Oh no, uh, a cop killed someone." If you see a cop killed someone, or you see an article that says, uh, "A million cop interactions and nothing happened," which one are you gonna read? You're gonna read the one that says, "Hey,
Exactly.
someone just
Yeah,
got killed."
it's human nature.
So that's the reason we don't see all these good things.
Yeah,
Like I don't know how old you are. How old are you? If you want to say it.
19.
19. Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind. I'm 19.
Um you might be too young for this, but when I was younger, like if you watched movies with firemen or or anything to do with firemen, you always saw the firemen rescuing cats from trees. That
Oh
was
yeah, I've
the
seen that.
that was the stereotype fireman rescuing cats from trees. They still do that today. You don't see any
Hmm.
videos of it.
Yeah, well, no, I've seen that in movies, so I guess it continued on to
They
the
still do
early
it today.
2000s.
If you call the fire department for a cat in a
No, I
tree,
mean in movies, but
but like that's a like there's a really cool video I saw of there was a dog in a river struggling to survive, and the people up top made a human chain through the river and saved the dog.
wow.
Those stories are what we need to see on the news. We don't need to see just the bad stuff. We need to see the good stuff. Right before we got on, I was on Facebook and I saw um, this, and it was in India. This little girl, she was couldn't have been more than 4, fell in headfirst into a water barrel and was
Mm-mm.
drowning, and the parents didn't see, and the security camera caught it, and the neighbor saw from their yard her feet kicking in the air because she was
Damn,
drowning, and she jumped the fence, ran over, and pulled the kid out, and then emptied the barrel. Like
that's crazy.
those are the stories that should be on the news, not like neighbor saves 4-year-old girl. That should be the story, not uh uh I
Yeah,
gotta mention this story I saw yesterday. It's politics, but it's so funny. So
all right.
over the weekend, Joe Biden's dog, he tried to take his dog for a walk, and his dog attacked him and broke his ankle. He spent the weekend in the hospital with a broken ankle because his dog, and so they he posted that he's going to be getting a cat now because the dogs are too rough for him. And
Well, you know
then
what they say?
the
They say,
next the very next story was a dog psychic talked to Joe Biden's dogs and said that he will make a wonderful president. No joke.
well,
He
because I've got to keep it. You know why I think that is? Because a lot of people put a lot of credence in dogs' behavior. If a dog doesn't like someone, they won't like someone. Like I've got my little lady right here, and if she doesn't like someone, I won't like them. And I think there is something primal about humans working as pack animals with dogs. We pick up on what the dogs do, and if the dog doesn't like someone, we really need to think, okay, wait a minute, what's this dog picking up on that I haven't noticed? So
well,
to stop people
I
hearing that
I
story and
have
thinking,
one dog and 2 cats.
yeah,
My dog is blind and deaf, so
all right,
so
no, not much going on.
he likes everyone. We have to carry him up the stairs now. He's so old. Uh, he's like in dog years. He's like 130. Like it's he,
What is that, 13 or
he's coming up on 19.
19? Damn.
He's old. We've been expecting him to go for like 2 years, and he just hanging in there.
You think more than 2 years, to be honest. No, you don't really get a 19-year-old dog.
But the cats, they're both young. Under one is a little over a year, and one's under a year.
Oh,
But
that's nice.
they they don't like anyone. They are mean cats.
Oh, really? I
Like
think with cats, it's like
they will
dogs are
come
sort
up
of,
they'll come up to you and purr and let you pet them, and then you're
yeah, yeah,
petting
yeah,
them, and then you're like, huh? And then they'll go, "Rah!" and just bite
yeah.
the shit out of you.
That's terrible. I think with cats, you have to earn their trust. They don't inherently view you as part of their pack and someone to respect. You have to earn their respect. Whereas with dogs, it's just they're pack animals. So if you're part of their pack, even if you don't treat them that nicely, they'll still show you the utmost respect.
Have you seen the mancoons?
No, I haven't. What's that?
They're cats. They're like this big.
What?
Yeah,
That's a lion right there.
that's what we got. The second one. The
No
first one
way.
is a smaller one, but the second one, he's less less than he's about 6 months right now, and he's already bigger than the dog. Like he's huge. Like
Damn,
he when he lays down, he goes off both ends of the couch. Like,
that's crazy.
and he's only 6 months. He's still
6 months.
yeah
Both ends of the couch.
yeah.
I can't even picture this. I like that. You've genuinely got yourself like an apex predator on your hands right there. A
He
scratch off that thing is going to be deadly.
and he's like he eats so much. Like uh we have the packets of food, the wet food that you open.
Hmm.
Normally you give each of them one, and that's
Yeah.
what we did when he was littler. Now
Hmm.
he'll eat 3 packs in like a minute. Like
That's got to be expensive.
like
Those cat food packs are not cheap.
he's just I don't know how big he's gonna get. Okay, we're way off topic. What was our we, we were talking
I
about
brought up
like
the
positivity in the media and stuff.
yeah. Um. What about a complete bit of a U-turn, but something I'm always sort of interested in is how does your diagnosis affect you in your like day-to-day life? How do you transcend it and live such a functional life?
Functional. That's the debatable. Um, a very understanding wife.
Right.
My wife supports me. Like we looked into having her listed as a caregiver for me.
Oh, right.
Um, because she actually qualifies for it to be what the army calls a caregiver. She actually qualifies for it, but since I'm working right now, she can't get it. Um, but basically, without her, it wouldn't work. Like honestly, without her and the kids, I wouldn't be here right now. 100%. I would not be here. Uh, and that's just simply like I do a lot of work, like uh, work on the. I'm a developer, software developer, so I do a lot of work, but I don't do a lot of work. You can see behind me the mess. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah,
it's
yeah.
really hard for me to do simple things. Take out the trash, clean, do laundry. Like she handles all of it, and I that's not good. I try to help out, but like I'll I'll like load the dishwasher, and I'll be like, hey, honey, I loaded the dishwasher, and she's like, oh, good, you did it once this week,
Yeah.
or
Is
like,
that the negative symptoms, do you think? Is that what that is?
huh?
Do you think that's negative symptoms that is sort of making it hard to do things?
Well, I just don't remember anything.
Right.
Okay, so you have you have someone who walks into a dirty room, or let's use the kitchen as an example. You walk into the kitchen and you have a dirty dish and the sink is full. What do you do?
Wash one dish in the sink and then put the dish in. That's what I would do.
Well, like, um, if I walk in and the sink is full, instead of loading the sink stuff into the dishwasher,
Oh yeah, you got a dishwasher. Oh yeah.
I take the dirty one and set it on the stove and leave.
Oh yeah.
So
But
that's
why do you think that is?
I don't even think about things like that though. Or like the floor. If the floor is filthy, uh, unless someone points it out, like look at the floor, I won't notice it. I don't notice it
Mhm.
like things that need to be done. I have to schedule things. Like when my wife gives me a written list, do this, do this, do this, it gets done. But if she doesn't give me a list, nothing gets done
Yeah.
because I have
At
to
least you have that support system there. You're lucky to have that. Like that really is.
Yeah, I like I
It's
said,
got to
I
be
wouldn't be
everything.
here without her. She's like they you remember that saying like behind every man is a strong woman. Like that is
Hmm.
so true. Like and you know a lot of people don't agree with it, whatever. But like when like I've been married over 11 years now, and every single day at some point I think I have no idea why she's still with me. Like no idea. Because like I want to do obviously I want to do better and I think and I try to do better, but like when I look at like if you were like to get a score, like how are you doing, you know, as a husband, as a father, um how are you doing? Whether I score higher or not, I still score myself lower. Like with my kids, I love my kids. I love spending time with them and doing things with them, but limited. Like, say we play something, after like an hour, I need a break. My wife will have
Yeah.
them all day and not say anything, but me, after like an hour, I just need a break, you know, 15 minutes, and then I can come back. But like, it's things like that. Like, um, when my oldest daughter was real young, like, I was really like, uh, withdrawn, I guess. Like I'd be like, okay,
Dissociating.
here's a hug, or something uh, like I could, you know, give a hug, but like I don't like people touching me in general. So like, after we would play for like a few minutes, then I'd be like, okay, stay over there. it's it's so weird, but like that's what you know she has to deal with. That's what I have to deal with. I try to I the last the doctor I was with, he said I'm high functioning, but I still have I'm high functioning in the aspect that I can when I need to get things done, I get them done. But like I also spend 4 hours a day doing dumb shit, watching Netflix, playing video games, and I do it as a mechanism to uh, silence voices in my head. So like if I concentrate on a movie or concentrate on a video game, then I can kind of drown out the voices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I relate to that because when I was psychotic, which was a while ago now, I used to not realize it like that I was going through that until I would be sort of at home on my own in my room, and then it would be apparent. It would be like, oh wait, something's going on here, and I just thought it was the neighbors. That's what came to me. I never sort of had the insight to realize it is what it is. But yeah, I think it's tricky because personally, my psychosis is recovered. It was drug induced, so I've recovered, and my doctor said I made a full recovery. So I'm looking at it from the other side, and it's like, uh, it's it's uh, it's a touchy subject. I can't imagine how you manage to function
Well,
under those
like
conditions.
we had commented earlier about why I don't drink. Um, I will drink one beer. That's the max I will ever drink. The problem is if I ever get drunk, I don't just hear voices, I see people that aren't there.
Oh my, oh my,
And so it kind of it kicks the voices that I have when I'm sober turn into actual people. And then I'll
jeez,
start I swear I will sit there and I will have full on conversations with people that I see that no one else does.
Damn.
And so that's
No,
why I never I haven't been drunk in 8 years. Like I
damn.
just refuse to
Why
get.
would you want to? Why would you want to if it did that to you?
Well, the last time it happened was the last time I got drunk. Like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like
Jeez.
once you realize that the person you're talking to isn't actually there, it'll wake you up.
That's got to be an experience. Jeez, that sounds like a bad trip. That's horrible. Do you ever experience sort of delusions and stuff like that, or is that not really?
um, well, I guess it depends on the definition between hallucination and delusion.
I don't mean sort of delusionations associated with hallucinations. I mean more sort of things like I used to get like, oh, the Illuminati is watching me and they're giving me
Oh,
powers and stuff.
all the time. All I'm the hardest part about going to work, like when right now they've had us working the whole year at home, so I work like sitting right here. Um, but I'm a software developer, so it's easy. But when we were going to the office, the hardest part about going to the office was actually getting there because I am so uncomfortable because I work in the city and I live out in the middle of nowhere, hardly know people. I like it. I work in the city, so I would have to ride the train in full of people. Then I would have to walk from it's only like 2 blocks from the train station to my office, but I would walk as fast as I can, keep my head down, walk as fast as I can. I would be holding a knife in my pocket, like because I have so much I want to say angst, but I don't know the English word.
Yeah, it's angst.
Oh well, I would have so much angst that someone was gonna kill me or rob me or something.
Yeah.
And and that happens every single day that I go in public. So I don't go in public.
There you go. That's a viable solution to the problem.
Like
Really is.
the only time I go is if I absolutely have to, or like for like I go to the gym when they're open. I go to the gym all the time, but I go at night when no one's there. Like literally, there's only when I go to the gym, there's like 2 people in the gym. That's it, and it's a
Right.
big gym. But I go at the time when no one's there, and then uh, the only other time I go in public is either work, which hasn't happened this entire year, or to buy food. Um, and when I go like grocery shopping, it's like Speedy Gonzales, like there was a TV show. Do you remember? They had a shopping cart, and you could run through a store and throw you had like a minute to throw as much stuff in the shopping cart as you could, and anything that you could fit in there, you got to keep.
Right. Okay. I haven't seen it, but yeah, no, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you're in the UK. You wouldn't have seen it, but they had a TV show where you had 60 seconds to run through a store with a shopping cart, get as
Yeah.
much as you could into the shopping cart, and then get back to the front of the store in a minute. And you
Mhm.
could get TVs, computers, food, anything you wanted. But you had to get it into the cart and back to the front of the store in a minute, and you could keep whatever you fit in there.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that reminds me of what I do when I go shopping. I go in. I'm like, tack tack tack. Don't look at prices. Just throw it in and get out. But
You know what? I think that that makes it even more inspiring. The fact that you're still able to fairly consistently put out this pretty good quality podcast, and it's like and work and maintain all these things. Like you really are for the amount of just for the unfortunate predicament that nature has put you in, you are dealing with it spectacularly, and you're really making the best out of the situation.
But see, how I see it though is I'm failing miserably. Like if I performed at the level that I wish I did, it'd be amazing. Like how I want to see my how what I want to do, I don't know if it's motivation or uh that I just can't be bothered. I don't know what it is, but if I could do like what I want to do, I would do 7 days a week working out, 7 days a week. Well, at least 5 days a week podcast. I would be uh, work would probably stay the same. I would be 7 days a week working on my book. Uh, like I would get all these things done, plus all the work, my laundry. I've been saying for 3 days I need to do laundry. Still haven't done it. Like I want to be able to get all the life stuff, kids and the
Okay,
house. I
brilliant.
want to get all of that done and be able to, you know, uh, it would do me wonders if I could, every single day meditate, every single day work out, every single day uh, do reading. Uh, 2 weeks ago, I said, maybe it was longer, I lose track of time, but a few weeks ago, maybe longer, I said I would read every day for 20 minutes. And I did it for like 2 weeks. And then I just quit.
You know
And
what? That's very true. Like very neurotypical people are gonna have the same experience. Like that is not. I feel like you're beating yourself up over it too much. Like that is part of the human experience. Like trying and not being able to stick to things. Like it really is. It's not so much like a feature of the condition. It is just part of the experience. And the fact that you can stick to work and always get that done to acceptable standard for the company really says a lot.
well, like with work, a lot of times, like, say Friday night, or say just Friday in general, I just won't feel like working. So I just won't work on Friday. And then I'll end up working Saturday and Sunday. So
If
it's
it works for you, it works for you.
like because you say you have to do 8 hours on Friday, and then you just
Mhm.
take Friday off and do 4 hours Saturday, 4 hours Sunday. That was your 8 hours for Friday.
You're getting it done. That's the main point is even with a sort of more relaxed company, which I believe you have, you said you have, um, they wouldn't just let you get away with murder. You're still pulling your weight. You still
Well, you still we're restricted on time. So
yeah,
at the beginning of each project, you have a set amount of hours to get it done. So
right.
as long as you get it done in that time limit, they don't care. You can work an hour a day, but you have a due date and an an amount of hours to get it done.
Hmm.
So as long as you produce, they leave you alone. And uh, we 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 have 3 work related meetings a week, but we started my I've really been pushing culture into the workplace, and my bosses agree and they push culture. Um, and so we have a new meeting once a week where it's just whatever we want to talk about. Like if something's bothering you, bring it up or whatever. And like I start the meetings with one of those motivation videos from YouTube. So like the
Huh.
10 minutes of motivational video, and then we
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah.
for like an hour. And that happens once a week. And like this yesterday was the meeting, and I played a 10-minute video about productivity, and people, the my coworkers enjoy it. They like it, but we're really trying to push for a where the work environment is about the people, not the work.
Mm.
And like a good example is like the saying "happy wife, happy life." If you
Yeah.
have happy workers, you have a good work, like a good company.
Happy workers, productive service.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it'd be.
It's got a
Like
rhyme. If it's one of those, it's got a rhyme.
like happy people work better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like if and this goes out if anyone's listening that's owns a business, if your workers are happy, your business grows. And that like our we've hired 3 people in the last year. Like we're growing because everyone's happy and productive and making money. But if if your workers wake up in the morning and say, "Shit, I have to go to work," they're not going to be productive.
Yeah. I think it depends a lot on the character of the person as well, because some people are just work averse. They're never gonna wake up in the morning and look forward to work, but certain people will look forward to
Well,
even
in that case,
an
they
unenjoyable
shouldn't
job.
be it. I don't care about anyone's personality. If you wake up in the morning and you're not excited, like I'm saying on general level, not every
Mhm.
some
Yeah,
people
yeah,
have their
yeah,
bad
yeah,
days, but if you don't enjoy the work you do, then you need a different job. You should not be working. I would rather you quit your job, go homeless until you find a new job that you love, that you look forward to going to every day.
yeah. I think that's unattainable for most people. I really do think that's unattainable for most people. Like
No,
they
they're not willing.
they
The everyone can do it. They're not willing to uh there's a wonderful book. Uh it talks about choosing how you suffer. Life is about suffering, and we get to choose how we suffer. So you say you're a business owner, you open a business and you work 100 hours a week. You are suffering by through you choose your suffering, and you're tired every day and you're putting in 100 hours a week. You chose that. Or you could do the opposite. You could go work to some for someone for 40 hours a week, and you hate the people you work with, you hate your boss, but you're choosing that suffering. So you can stay in that 40-hour week job and suffer because you hate it, or you can go the other route and put in 100 hours a week and for little to no money and build something, but you're choosing the suffering. Or you could just say, screw it, quit your job, move into the middle of the woods and live off the land. Even that, living off the land, you're going to be suffering because you're going to be hungry. You're going to have to fight for food, fight for water. I have a good friend in Alaska. He got really messed up mentally in Iraq, like really messed up. And so when he came back, he just quit at life, and he went out into the woods and lived there in the woods, just with a backpack and his gun for 3 years.
Damn.
So he just walked. He grabbed his bag, grabbed his gun, walked out in the woods, came back 3 years later. Like he,
That must have been isolating.
but see, like we choose what we choose how we live our life. You choose how you spend your time. You can choose to spend your time learning a new skill, or you can choose to watch YouTube videos. You can choose to watch Netflix, or you can choose to create artwork. it's
Yeah.
it's all about choices. And like I get upset with myself because I always some things I choose right, but a lot of it I choose wrong. Like I'll be thinking about doing the podcast and I'll be like, man, I really need to do the podcast. I'll open the podcast app, get ready to do the podcast, and then I'll be like, man, I don't got shit to say. Let's just watch Netflix.
Yeah. I can imagine that happen. I think that happens to everyone though. That really does happen to everyone, even the best of us. Like
It does not
we get
happen
caught
to
out.
Elon Musk.
Okay, I take it back. There are exceptions to the rule. There are some people who
I wish
just
I wish I wish I had the work ethic of Elon Musk.
that guy is an animal.
He
He's a
has
complete animal.
every single minute of every single day planned in 5-minute intervals. He has
That's crazy.
he runs 3 companies. He spends like Monday and Tuesday at Tesla, Wednesday and Thursday at SpaceX, Thursday like he's moving state to state, business to business, back and forth throughout the week, and he literally has every single like he said it during interviews. He even has like set 10-minute blocks that he can spend with his family. Like,
What?
like,
That's insane. But would you even want to live like that?
well,
Like,
no,
you might be super productive, but is it really enjoyable and happy? Do you think he is truly happy?
he has a goal.
Hmm.
He he has more than one, obviously, but his life goal is to have a colony on Mars. That's his life goal. He built
Really?
he built Tesla to finance SpaceX. So Tesla's only reason for being is so that they can use the money to finance SpaceX to because until you get to Mars and get everything set up, it's not very profitable. So SpaceX is making money by launching satellites for other people, and now with the space taking the astronauts up and down, it's making some money. But the majority of the time, SpaceX is losing money, and they're
Yeah.
just trying to stay afloat until uh, they achieve their goal. Once they achieve it, it's game over. But
That's crazy. I never knew that was Elon Musk's goal was to make a Mars colony. That's insane. You know what? That gives me a lot more respect for him because it's like he really must be motivated to achieve that above
we're
everything
less than
else.
4 years away from people on Mars.
What?
In
Really?
the first manned flight to Mars is in 2024.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. Do you think is it SpaceX that are running that?
yeah. They're
Damn.
they're building. So right now they're using the Falcon 9 rockets. They're
Hmm.
building the Starship and the Super Heavy booster. That is what is going to carry people to Mars. And the first test flight for that new rocket is this week.
Really?
So
That's
it is
crazy.
literally the power of this rocket. If you took every country on Earth, their most powerful rocket, and combined them, this one rocket is more powerful than all of them combined.
What? Wait. Can you repeat that, please? Every single rocket on Earth, this rocket is more powerful
So
than all of them combined.
every space agency has their
Oh, right.
every space agency on Earth has their huge rocket. Like the Russians have the big one, the China has the big one. Combine all of their rockets together, it's not even a fraction of what this new one is.
Jesus, that's crazy.
As
I
far
want to
as
see this.
as far as the lift capability, the uh the biggest rocket ever made was in the US. It was the Saturn V that sent people to the moon. And if you put the Saturn V next to the Falcon Heavy, it's half as tall.
The Falcon Heavy is half as tall as the
No,
Saturn V.
the Falcon Heavy is 2 times taller
Oh man.
and
Okay.
3 times wider.
Whoa. That's insane.
It's over 30 feet, no, 30 meters wide.
30 meters wide.
Yeah.
That's like a house. That's more than a house. That's an
It's
apartment
30
building.
meters wide. It only needs to lift off the ground one engine. They're planning on uh 30 engines per rocket.
30.
So with one engine it can lift off the ground, and each rocket will have 30 rocket engines.
So like 30 individual thrusters.
Yeah.
Damn. That's insane. That's
Dude,
crazy,
it's
man.
like it and it will be the only rocket ever made that can refuel in space. So what will
It can
happen?
refuel in space.
Yeah. So what will happen is that it's a two-piece system. They will launch. The first piece will go into a hover around the Earth. The second piece will come down, land, refuel, go back up, and fuel and load on extra fuel for the trip to Mars or trip to
That just
wherever.
makes sense. That's crazy.
Me,
That you've completely blown my mind with that. Like honestly, I didn't think we even had that technology as something that was feasible. Like I did not know we were that advanced when it comes to as
have
being a
you not been
spacefaring
seeing the Falcon
civilization.
9s going up? They go up, launch
Yeah.
stuff, and then
I've
come
seen the
back and
YouTube
land.
videos. Yeah, I've seen the YouTube videos. I didn't realize the whole what was it called? The Falcon Heavy was so
The
advanced.
Starship.
Oh yeah, the
The
Starship.
Starship is the Starship is the piece on top. The Falcon Heavy is the piece on bottom.
Right, okay. So the Starship slash Falcon Heavy, I didn't realize we were that advanced and that close to going to Mars. That is.
Well, they're testing the Starship right now.
What day is that? Yeah, they're testing the Starship. Sorry, I just
They're
got distracted.
they're doing the first. Go ahead.
I just got to talk to my mum. Sorry. Okay, I'm back.
I'll edit this part out of the video.
Yeah. That makes sense. Sorry about that. Sorry.
No,
It's just
I
I've had
wanted
to
to get a
move into the
cigarette
kitchen
anyway.
because the data was not doing too well.
No, we're so close. They already have. I think in 2 years they're gonna start private flights where you can pay for a seat to go to the moon.
What?
Yeah.
SpaceX?
Yeah.
Damn.
They
That
they
I didn't
already
know.
they already they already sold the first seat to this China, this billionaire in China.
Really, that is a immersive experience right there. Going to the moon, Jesus. I never thought that I would be so young when things like this are happening. I always sort of pictured it in a distant future, not something that was gonna come into actuality so soon.
I
Like
already told
it's
my
crazy.
wife. I said if I ever got offered the chance to go to Mars, I'm out.
Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Like
If you could be on the forefront of humanity, the new frontier, why wouldn't you?
it's everyone that goes, obviously they know it's a one-way trip. Um, so you're going there to die. But I would
Yeah.
do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, me too. Definitely me too.
Like, oh man. But I'm a huge, like, if they ask for volunteers to be like have you heard of the where they freeze people and then bring them back?
Cryogenics sort of thing.
Yeah. Uh, we haven't perfected it yet, but if we ever do, the idea is you can freeze people, then send them out on the 1,000-year-long flights to other systems, and then wake them up.
That is crazy.
The because the problem, like I think there's up to we found thousands of planets that are just like Earth. The problem is they're too far away to get to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
But
we couldn't it our if we took our fastest spaceship and went straight line there, it would still take thousands of years to get there, and no one can live that long. So so
and you couldn't exactly have like a little tribe go on the plane, the rocket, and keep having generations of rocket faring people until you get there. Is that not feasible? Or?
well, you could do that, but the problem is the odds of them getting there would be slim to none with because if people are awake, then you have to account for all the food and resources.
Mm, mm.
Um,
Unless they could find a way to be sort of self-sufficient. I don't know if the technology exists. I
we
can
we
imagine
don't have
that.
it yet. We
Yeah,
don't. Just like the space station, the only way people stay on there year round is because every month we send supplies up.
yeah,
So
yeah. That no, that makes sense to me.
we can
I'm a
grow
bit.
we can grow um, plants in space,
Oh, really?
but very basic plants. Uh, and the other problem is we would die. You can only stay in space for a certain amount of time before you die because uh, our bodies aren't made for zero gravity. So before we do any long missions, we would have to find a way to have artificial gravity in space.
Mm.
Like all the astronauts, every astronaut that's ever went up, when they come back, they can't even walk. And it's an irreversible process. Your bones start dying.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
You're
It,
you lose for every year in space you lose like 30% bone mass.
30%.
Yeah.
Is that because of the zero gravity?
Yeah. Because right now our bodies have weight on every part of our body because of gravity.
Hmm. Yeah.
And in 0G, your heart has to pump harder to get the blood to go because you're in 0G.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, just like fluid dynamics of it.
And
Um,
your muscles atrophy just like someone that never gets out of bed. Your muscles atrophy because they're not being used.
right. Yeah,
Because you
no, that
don't
makes
need
sense.
muscles in space.
Sorry to say this, but I'm a bit conscious of time. Do you think we could
Yeah,
call it a day here? It has been over an hour, I believe.
yeah, we went a little long. We
It's
went
like
a
we
little
wanted a
off
longer
top.
episodes.
We went a little off topic.
No, it was good though.
Um, okay. Any closing thoughts to the audience?
I just a message for anyone who's listened through this far. Believe in yourself and chase your dreams. There you go.
And where can they find your podcast?
Oh yeah, that's what you're going for. So my podcast is called. Oh my God, what is my podcast called? My podcast is called. Oh, this the problem is I get the name mixed up.
Communication.
Communication verbatim. Thank you for saving me there. Yeah, I'm in my head. Conversation. Which one is it? So if you actually do listen to the first episode so far, you'll see I'm not good with the name of my podcast. I get it wrong the whole way through the episode. But yeah, communication verbatim. Just go search it up. It's on Spotify. It's on all major platforms. Yeah, have a listen to it. Thank you for letting me on. It was great.
All right, and thanks for your time, and I'm sure we'll catch up later.
Can we if you start recording